Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about corset supplies. So I ordered a package from Farthingales. This is not sponsored. I did buy this. I spent about I want to say about $150 some for this packaging. So this is the first time I've ordered from Farthingales. I normally, when I get my corset making supplies, I order from Amazon, AliExpress, and I've ordered once or twice from corsetmakingsupplies.com. I order from Farthingales because they do have a kit. Well, you need both kits, but they do have some kits that you can just buy everything all in one without having to worry about, well, do I need this? Do I need that? So I decided to order that, and I've heard many professional making corset makers talk about Farthingale, so I was like, let me go ahead and try this company out and compare their their professional stuff that they use for their corsets with the inexpensive stuff that I use for my corsets. Because I only wear corsets for costuming and for like fashion. So if I'm making something for my job's Christmas party, and it needs boning in it or something like that, or I want to make a corset for that, then yeah, I will do it, but I will use less expensive material. So I've only really dealt with less expensive stuff because most of the time when I'm making corsets, it's not for long wear or tight corseting or something that I will constantly be wearing all the time. It's only just for that moment, for that cosplay, and most of the time I don't wear it again. So I wanted to see if the stuff that I was using, because a lot of this stuff is like, I'm not going to say research, but it's more like trying it out. So I will just test it to see if it works. And if it works, I stick with it, whether I know that it's what I'm supposed to use or not. I have done I've done a lot of research, not some research. I have done a lot of research on different materials to use, and if there's a substitution. But sometimes it's hard to actually know if that is the right thing. Like they say, you can use canvas for your inner lining, or as opposed to coutil. But am I using the right canvas? Because there are so many different types of canvas. There are so many ounces of, like different ounces of it, whether it's thick, whether it's on a softer side, whether it's on a stiffer side. Like, you don't know if it's the right stuff. They just said use canvas. So me personally, I will use duck canvas, but there are the different types of canvas out there. So I wanted to test out and see if the professional stuff was like the inexpensive stuff that I use. So we're going to jump into it, and we're going to talk about the first kit that I bought. That kit, they have two different sizes for it. One is $62. The other one is $115. One is called corset making kit, and the other one is called corset making kit X, meaning extra. So that one do come with a little bit more material. They come with the same thing in it, but you get more of it. So on the first kit, I did get the $115 one, which is the X one, because they were sold out of the smaller kits. And I really didn't need that much of this stuff, but I was like, hey, it's there. I'm gonna need it. I want to test it out, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it. And who's to say I may be able to use it for multiple corsets. So this one came with lacing strip. I think this was like 5 yards of it. Let me make sure. It's 5 meters. Actually, theirs are in meters, and meters are longer than yards. So 1 yard is 36 inches, while a meter is about 39, almost 40 inches. So yeah, this one came with 1 meter. So this is 1 meter So it's a little over 1 yard, so 3 inches, so about 39 inches of lacing. So this here I'm going to use for mock-ups because these grommets are way too small for me. I do not use grommets this small. My grommets are a 1/4 of an inch. I like this size more. As you can see, the sizing on this. So I do buy these from off of Amazon. The quality, these do feel a little thicker, like they're made out of actual metal, while this feels more like aluminum, if anything. So it does feel a little thinner. This do feel more quality made, but I'm assuming it's because they are smaller. Y'all know sometimes the smaller something is, the thicker it usually is. But I still like these. I have not had any issues with using these, like they don't rip or tear up on me. So I will stick to my 1/4 inch grommets, which these came from off of Amazon. So yeah, this is the 1 meter of lacing strip. This is good to have if you want to do mock-ups and you don't want to waste your grommets, because you can sew this on, you know, baste it on, and then take it off and reuse it. So this is good to have. So I'm okay with this. I can get the same thing from Fine Fabrics down here, because I am based in Georgia. So I can get this from Fine Fabrics. I can get the size that I need, but it being so small. So I can get a substitution for this. Will it be this wide? No, because I can actually put bones into these two side channels. But the other lacing strip that I have, that I can get at Fine Fabrics, won't have that. So this is good to have. So I'm okay with this. This is fine for a mock-up. All right, the next thing that came in this kit is it is a this is 10 meters. Yeah, this is 10 meters of casing, and this is about 3/4 of an inch wide, and it is fairly wide. But you know, once you start filling in with a wider bony material, like, because this is made for 1/2 an inch, it does fill up all that space. And then don't forget, you need to sew it down too, so you will be taking away space. So it's fairly wide, but that's okay. So you get 10 meters of this, and it just feels like a regular cotton. I'm not sure if this is a twill. Did they say? No, they don't say what it's made out of, but it is cotton. This is cotton. I do make my own casing out of double folded bias tape, extra wide double fold bias tape. I have used this for my casing. It is a little tighter when I use it this way, but I have used this. But I will say these are better for 1/4 of an inch bones instead of a 1/2 an inch. But I have used these for that. It is tight. You got to make sure you sew right on the super on the edge. It has to be like on the edge. You cannot make any mistakes when using this. There are also casings that come with the plastic boning that you can get, like the feather lights from Joann's or Walmart or Hobby Lobby or whatever. It does come like this. These two are for, like, I want to say 1/4 of an inch. Also, I don't like using this. I don't like using the feather light boning. I don't like the way they feel, and I don't like it's not enough structure for me. So I do not like using these, but I do have it on hand because I was trying it out and it is not my favorite. So I did not use that. So I've been holding on to that for the longest, and I don't use it. So don't waste your money on the feather light stuff. Do not buy that at all. Okay. So the next thing that comes in there is 10 meters of satin face lacing. I don't like using like the satin ribbons for my lacing unless it's a fancier corset. Like if I'm making it out of making a dress or whatever, then yes, I like using ribbon, whether it's satin or grosgrain. I don't mind using it for that. But when it comes to like something that's underneath the clothing, I like to use shoestrings. So they do send this with you. My substitution that I use that come from like Amazon is shoelace lacing. So this is just a shoelace. It's two shoelaces tied together. The longer the shoelaces, the better. This is a shorter. These were two shorter shoelaces, but it was only for a small waist corset for the front of a cosplay. That was all. So I didn't need anything long, but I like these kind. They do slide in and out of the garments a whole lot better, just like the satin does. The satin does too, but I don't like the satin because I just don't feel like it has a lot of structure as like a shoelace, because you know shoelaces are made for like tying your shoes, so they have to have some type of stability to it. My other option is these two. These are actual corset lacing that I got from corsetmakingsupplies.com. So I actually did get these from a corset place, and it's just like buying shoelaces, except these are just thinner. They're not as thick as those. These are boot lacing. These came from Amazon. So, and these are a little bit wider, but they are round. They're not flat. Another substitution you can use is paracording. So you can get the paracording that you will use. Some people will use it for like jewelry making or for parachutes or whatever. Just make sure it's not the one that has a stretch in it. So those are my other substitutions. So lacing is not the issue of what you use, because you can use anything as long as it fits through the garment and glide through the garment fairly easily without getting caught up on anything. So I'm not worried about the substitution on the lacing. All right, the next thing that I had in this kit is Petersham. Now, I have never used Petersham before. Petersham, it's a weird word, but Petersham looks like this. So it's more of a like snake-like, S-like pattern to it. I was like, oh, what's the difference between that and grosgrain? But grosgrain does not have that same pattern. And this is grosgrain. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is Petersham and this is grosgrain. It wants to focus on me, but these are the two. So they said that on the site you can use this as bias for the outer part of the corset, so you can bind the top and the bottom with this, or you can use it as waist stay. I have not tried this, so I'm not sure on whether it's a good substitution. They do feel the same to me, but as far as structurally, I'm not sure if they are the same. I will be trying this in the next corset that I make just to see what's the difference in it. But this one is polyester, while I do use a cotton binding for the outside. But I will try to give this a try if I have enough. It is 5 meters. Yes, it's 5 meters of this. And it is a inch wide. This is an inch wide. But my substitute that I have been using for my waist stay is twill tape. But this twill tape is smaller. As you can see, that's an inch. This is half an inch. So this twill tape is smaller. This is 100% cotton. I got this from off of Amazon. It was like 50 yards for like $9 or $10, I think it was. And I do have it in black and white. It was bigger than this, but you can see I've used it for multitudes of things besides just corsets. But I did want to try something a little bit wider. I have used, like I said, grosgrain ribbon also for my waist stay. So they do feel about the same. As far as structural, I'm not sure, which is why I want to try this out. But as far as filling, weight, everything else, it's the same. It feels the same. So you can still keep using those as a substitute. All right, my next thing is that came from this package is Coutil. It's C-O-U-T-I-L, Coutil. This is very stiff, And this can be used as either interlining or lining. This is 100% cotton. It does feel almost on par with what I have been using, which is duck canvas. This is what I got from Amazon. It feels about the same weight, like as far as ounces, thickness, it feels about the same. This one feels a little bit more stiffer, as far as like it feels like it's been heavily starched, while this one is a little more flowier than this one. But as far as thickness and everything else, it feels the same. So I can still continue using this instead of buying the coutil. The coutil is like $20 to $30 a yard, depending on what you get and where you get it from. Could be a little bit more than that if you're doing like satin, the satin coutil, which can be used as a outer and a lining. I wouldn't use that as a interlining. I would stick to the cotton. This one is cotton herringbone. There are different types of coutil, so be careful of that also. But my substitution that I was using was either upholstery fabric, duck canvas or canvas, and what was it? Duck canvas, upholstery fabric, and denim. Those were my 3 interlining fabrics. If I used the cotton, I would try to use something that had a little more weight to it, and I would use multiple layers of it. So I feel like the coutil will be it's just, the coutil is just more stiffer. So if you can starch the hell out of this, I feel like it will feel the exact same. But as far as the thickness and everything, then yes, I will still use my duck canvas, because this came from Fabric Wholesale Direct. This was Fabric Wholesale Direct. This was on sale, 15% off. It was $5 something a yard. I got 2 yards and it was like $10 and some change for this here. While this is only 1.5 meters, and this will run me like $50 to $60 just for this. So you can see the the difference in the pricing. And the crazy thing is like this is just used for structure. So, but you can still use it as a lining if you want to. But because it feels so stiff to me, I probably wouldn't put this against my skin. But if it was going as a lining for a corset to go on, like if I had on a shirt and then it was on top of the shirt, I'd be okay with that. But I couldn't use this as a lining if it was going on my skin. So yeah, but the canvas, the duck canvas, was just fine. So I can still use that, and to me it was a good substitution. So, but even if you use the denim, you can still use the denim, or you can still use the upholstery fabric. That still is a good substitution for inner lining, at least. So yeah, so that was what came in the $115 package. You get all of this in the $62 pack kit, but you just get more in the $115. So you get 10 meters instead of 5. You get 1.5 meters instead of 1 meter. So, all right, so on to the $62 package, which was only 3 things. I look back on the site, and one of the items that's in this kit is not on the site. It's not in the kit on the site. It's not in any of the kits on the site. So I don't know if I bought it at the time and it was on there, or if they just threw it in. I don't know. Either way, I'm not mad at it, because I want to use it, and I like to use it because it's twill tape. So, and it's 1 inch wide. So this is the twill tape. It's the same as my cotton twill tape. It's just wider, which is what I wanted to use. So yeah, so I don't have to use my Petersham for my waist stay. I can just use this. So this does feel like it's a polyester. It does not feel like my cotton. It don't feel like my cotton. It could be a blend. It could be a cotton polyester blend. but it does not feel like my 100% cotton. But I do want to try this out. So I'm glad that they did send it. And I think this is about a yard. I think this is a meter for that. So the only, like I said, the only difference is it's just wider than my actual twill tape. If I could find a cotton twill tape that's wider, an inch instead of a half an inch, I can still continue using that. So, and that came from Amazon. That one is the Farthingales. So it's still a good substitution. So far my substitutions are pretty good. This is the other thing that came in a $62 kit. It was the front bust closure. These do not feel any different. This one is 12 inches. And the 12 inches come with 8 closure pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this is 13. Yes, this is the 13 one. And it comes with 6 clasps on the front of it. This does not feel any different from the ones that I got from AliExpress or from Amazon. No difference at all. So I will continue getting my bust closures from and from the one that I had got from corsetmakingsupplies.com. All of them feel the same. Like, it's no thicker, no, it bends about the same, it feels the same as far as how thick it is. Like, there is no difference. Even how it's coated, how it has the little hole in one side of it, it feels the same. There is no difference. How it looks, how it feels. So I will continue getting my bust from Amazon or from AliExpress because they're cheaper. But cheaper doesn't mean less quality. So I will continue getting my closures from there. I just ordered some sets from Amazon. One came with four pieces. No, 4 sets, which is 8 pieces. So it's like 1, 2. So this is one set. So it came with 4 sets, and it was only like $12. While one of these will run you around $7 on the site. So I will continue. I will continue with the Amazon and AliExpress on these. I wanted to make sure that the quality of the steel and everything didn't change when I decided to go through Amazon or through AliExpress. So if you can get your bust closures from Amazon or AliExpress, do that. It's cheaper and it still feels the same. The quality is still the same, so that's okay. I don't have an example because they're all inside of my corsets, but I did order some more, so I will actually test that theory out a little bit better. But from what I've handled so far, it feels the same. The next thing that came in this package is, I think this is 10 meters of synthetic whalebone or German plastic boning. I'm looking at the card down here, that's why. It looks like this. It's about that wide. It does feel like a heavy plastic. My substitution I've been using is industrial zip ties. These are thicker. I mean, they are wider. So these are almost a half wide. These would be considered more like a 1/4 of an inch. But yeah. They feel the same thickness. They feel the same. Like this one has more rigidness to it, while this is a little more pliable. But they feel about the same. They feel close enough for me to be fine. Like this feels more rigid. Like this feels better, like thicker for me than using this. But it is better than the Featherlight stuff. The Featherlight stuff. Hold on. Okay, so this is the Featherlight stuff. This is the one that comes in the casing, and you will get it by the yard from like Joann's or Walmart or whatever. But this is that. They feel, this one feels, they feel about the same as far as thickness. and about the same in the rigidness. So I don't know. I like my zip. I feel like my zip ties are better quality. I got these from Home Depot from the plumbing section, not the electrical section. There are zip ties in the electrical section, but I got these from the plumbing section. These are for to hold up like ductwork. So I got these from the plumbing section. They are industrial zip ties. The only thing that I wish I can do is find something like thinner like this, as far as like a 1/4 inch as opposed to a 1/2 inch, but I'm okay with this. These go into my channels just fine, except for when I use the bias tape, then it's a little tight, but it still go up in there. But yeah, I feel like my zip ties are better suited for what I want them to be than the synthetic whalebone. So will I still use this? Yes. But I feel like I like these better. These were 20, I want to say it was either, they went up in price. They used to be like $17, but I feel like they're now $21 for a pack of 48 inches. You get 25 in the pack. These are 36 inches and you get 25 in a pack. This is more than 25 because I've stuffed my other packages inside of it. But yeah, you get this. This is how the packaging look. But they have it in a 36 and a 48. The 48 will cost a little bit more money, but you still get the same amount in there, and they still feel the same. I can get about 2, depending on how big the corset is. I can get about 2 to 4 boning out of one of these zip ties. So I'm not using a lot in these, and you could just cut them with some tin snips. If you got some really strong scissors, you can cut them with scissors because it is just plastic. So I think I will continue using this as far as if I want to use plastic boning. I will use this, or I will continue using my sew-on boning, my Ridgeline boning, which, pause again, which is this stuff. So you will sew on the smooth side, like these little strips here. You will be sewing on these here, but you can sew through the whole thing because it's plastic. But it's weird because using this as opposed to this or the Featherlight, this one here, I don't know, this just feels like when I use this, it does bend. Depending on where it's at, it does bend out of place just as much as the plastic will. But for some reason, this just gives me more structure than the then I'm not gonna speak on the whalebone because I never used that, so I can't say how that's gonna react. But this, as opposed to this, and this is thinner, but this gives me more structure than this here. So I like using this more than I like using this. So if I'm not using my zip ties, I will use this. This one is a little more tedious to use because you are sewing it on. You're not just sliding it into a casing that you've already sewn on or made on the actual corset, because you can do channels without using a separate channel casing. But yeah, I like using this more. And you could just cut these with regular scissors, like any type of scissors. You can use regular scissors for these. And you do know that you also have spiral boning. So you have the spiral spring boning, and you have just the regular metal boning. I tried to use this for a hoop skirt. It didn't work out for me. So I do need to get some more of this because this one is cut. But yeah, I do need to get some more of this one, and I have not used this yet, so I cannot tell you how it works or how it feels. But when I do decide to use my couture stuff, I will be using this stuff here because I want to make one out of this. So I do want to use this eventually. And these two came from AliExpress and Amazon. Okay, and that was it. That was it. So far, the stuff that I have been using are pretty good substitutes. So I'm going to continue using what I have been using, especially since I'm only doing it for cosplay or for fashion and not necessarily for tight lacing. But I can do that in my corsets. So yeah, I hope this video helped. You can still stick with the kits if you want to. I feel like $115 is fairly decent, especially with how much you get inside of the kits. And the stuff is still quality material, but if you feel like you could put these same kits together, minus the coutil, minus the coutil, because the coutil is what's going to cost the most out of all of everything in this package. But if you feel like you could put the kits together, you know, do your own kit, you can do it with the stuff off of Amazon and AliExpress. I'm gonna show you one more thing that I did just recently get. I have gotten it before. It came from AliExpress, and because I know a lot of people may have some issues with finding this, so if you decide you do want to go to AliExpress and get this, you can. I'm just putting my stuff away. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so this is the last type of fabric that I kind of like to use for my corsets. This is corset mesh. You can get this on farthingales also, but this came from AliExpress. I think I paid $16 for 5 yards of it. This has no stretch to it. So there's no stretch to it. No stretch. The holes are like this. If there is a little sheen to it. This one is white. This one was the closest I can get to my skin tone without it going like super dark. But like I said, I think it was 5. I'm not sure if it was 5 yards or 5 meters, but it was like about $16 for it. But this is the other material that I like to use. This is strong. You can use this to do your, you know, your corsets that you want to be more see-through. I'm not that risque. So I do line, when I get these, not line it per se. I'm going to show you a top that I made. So this top I wore to Atlanta Frocktails using pattern Nomi 2072 by Lynn Branley. This is, I did a lot of modifications to this top. So, but as you can see, those are my grommets, my 1/4 inch grommets. I use grosgrain ribbon. So this one is like 1.5 inches, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 2 or 1.5 inches. It's 1.5 inches. So I use 1.5 inch ribbon for it. That's what I mean when I say I do use ribbon, but more for the more dressy stuff. These are my casings. These was made with the satin that I already have. Inside of this is the industrial zip ties. The front, because I wanted more coverage here and a little coverage in the back. This is the inside of half of it. So you can see the back is where my lacing panel is at. This is made just from the satin. So it has satin and this very thick, I don't want to call it denim, but I did get it out of the denim section. But it's it feels almost like the coutil. It's a very stiff, thick denim that I use for the inside of this piece and for the inside of these pieces here. So it's only satin and that denim inside of these here. So you can see that it has the satin here, but on the outside it has the lace. And that is the corset mesh. So it's corset mesh, 2 layers of tulle. And when I say tulle, I mean the fine mesh tulle. That's purple. It was well, not purple, but mauve, as the same color as the lace on here. So if you can see here, it kind of gives the illusion, because you can still see through it, without it being super see-through, because y'all don't need to be seeing all that at all. I don't need to be showing all that. Y'all don't need to be seeing all that. But yes, this one has lace. So it has lace and satin, and then lace, 2 layers of tulle, and the corset mesh, just 1 layer of corset mesh on this one. Just making sure. But that was because that's how I wanted it to be. And it is very sturdy, it's very strong. That's just a little pattern I put up in there. And that is the twill tape that I use for the waist stay. So it keeps this from stretching out of place when I do tie it as tight as it can go. And it was comfortable to wear. I didn't have no issues. I can bend in it, I can sit in it. It had the girl sitting up nice and pretty. So this was made with cheaper, inexpensive material, and it is very sturdy. And this is the busk. As you can see, like I said, it bends. It feels about the same thickness. The front looked the same. It was all the same. And this came from Amazon. This came from Amazon. And this is the other half of it. So yeah, I use all inexpensive material to make this here, and it looks like I spent a lot of money to make this, but I didn't. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So the stuff that I say that are good to substitute, they're good to substitute. I'm testing that theory out right now. They are good to substitute. So if you decide you want to keep going down that route, it's okay, you can. So yeah, I hope this video helped as far as if you're trying to do corsetry. But these are good materials to play around with, but they're also good materials in case you want to make something nice. So yeah, that's it for my video today. Like and subscribe, and you can catch me on Instagram at SD Cosplay or SDC Fashion. No, that's on TikTok. So you can catch me on TikTok at SD Fashion or SDC. Jesus. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. You can catch me on TikTok at SDC Fashion or SD Cosplay, or you can catch me on Instagram at _SD Cosplay _ So those are my little handles, and I try to put them in the description or somewhere so you can kind of see it a little bit better, because I'm just rambling right now. But yeah, thank you for joining my video. I hope this helped, and I will see y'all later. Bye.